Hey guys, today's video is a little bit about the Giants Live World's Strongest Man Tour finals that happened today in Manchester. I just wanted to run through for anyone who hasn't seen the scores and the updates, what happened, who was competing, and what the final outcome was. So I'll just quickly run through the athletes first. In no particular order, they had Alexei Novikov from the Ukraine, Ben Brunning from the UK, we had Kevin Fairs from the USA, Evan Singleton, also from the USA, Mikhail Shivlyakov from Russia, Robert Oberst from the United States, Ian Bibi from Burkina Faso, Terry Hollands from the UK, Adam Bishop from the UK, Luke Stoltman from the UK, Tom Stoltman from the UK, Mark Felix from the UK, and Mateusz Kiliskowski from Poland. They had 13 athletes this year. Interesting number, normally it's 12 or 10. I'm not sure what the reasoning for that was. Possibly they had some people pull out, one of which was the world's strongest man, Martins Lisis. He was unable to attend this year. He states that he has had some nerve issues, a pinch in his neck, which is causing his right arm not to fire properly when he's doing pressing. So he's rehabbing at the moment, I understand, and trying to get better for his next competition, which will be the Arnold Classic Europe. So it'll be interesting to see how Martins gets on. But that was our lineup of athletes for the day. And there was 5 events. Good mix of events. There was a grip event. There was events for reps, events for overhead, and obviously the stones, as there always is. So they started off with a 350 kilo or 770 pound axle deadlift for reps. They then went into a circus dumbbell created by Stand or Submit, and it's quite a monstrous looking device. There's 2 Atlas stones that are shrouded in metal. Very different to what we've seen usually. It's normally either a plate loaded dumbbell or it's just a solid steel dumbbell. So nice to see them changing it up a bit. I believe they're going to use the same dumbbells at the Giants Live Strongman Classic next year, which will be a new show in the Royal Albert Hall. But this year it was in Manchester. The dumbbells looked great and they were 103 kilos or 227 pounds, and that was for reps. They then went into a car walk, which is basically a yoke inside a car. The car was a Volkswagen Beetle, all sort of stick it up with Giants Live on the outside. They've used them before, and they weighed 450 kilos or 992 pounds today. Now, Giants Live can add weight if they want to and obviously strip it back down to its bare minimum. I'm not sure if that's the minimum weight or if they've actually tinkered with it a bit to make it heavier. I think because of the speeds that we'll talk about later, potentially they need to sort of up the weight a bit. Everyone's getting a lot stronger and a lot faster, and the sport is evolving, which is great to see. So they just need to get the right balance of weight and competition on the day. They then went into a Hercules hold. I'm not 100% sure on the weight of this, but that's for time, and that's where they have their arms stretched out wide, holding on to the pillars. And then finally they went into a 5-stone Atlas run, going from 120 kilos up to 200 kilos. So they've upped the weight again. So stones last time was 100 kilos to 180. So it's nice to see them just upping it a little bit. And this 5th stone was quite important this time. Had it been 180, we might have had a different podium. So that's the athlete list and that's the event list. So let's talk about what happened. So first event, axle deadlift for reps. This is 350 kilos. It's kind of bread and butter for most guys, the deadlift, and that weight is not too heavy in my opinion. Some athletes might struggle around the 380 to 400, but at 350 you would expect everybody to get their name on the board. So what actually happened was Adam Bishop came joint first with 7 reps, getting himself 12 points. Alexei Novikov also got 7 reps, getting himself 12 points. Mark Felix, 53 years old, got 7 reps. That's 12 points for Mark. So those 3 guys topped the charts after the first event. Next up in 4th place was Tom Stoltman with 6 reps and 10 points. Then we have Wales's Ben Brunning, known as the Badger. He had 5 reps and that got him 8.5 points. And he shared that with Mikhail Shivlyakov of Russia, who also got 5 reps and 8.5 points. We've then got Kevin Fairs of the United States, one of the lightest athletes, or the lightest athlete in the field. He's come from a 105 background, so he's really stepped up, did really well at the American Open, the Giants Live qualifier, and managed to get an invitation here to give him another opportunity to try out and do a competition at this level. And he did really well. He got 4 reps and 7 points. Then it was the T-Rex, Evan Singleton. You'll notice I was sharing lots of his training videos up to this competition on my channel. So, you know, this is what happens. You know, I try and update you guys on what they're doing and why, and this is the final result, and this is where we can see all that hard work that's come together. Evan did 3 reps and got 4.5 points for that. We then had Iron Bibby with 3 reps and 4.5 points. Iron Bibby coming back, he turned down an opportunity to compete at World's Strongest Man this year. We're not sure if it's due to injury or if he felt he wasn't ready. Quite a lot of different stories there, but Bibby was back, and he was back with a vengeance. Now, 3 reps doesn't sound like a lot, but actually it's one of his weakest events, so to pull off any reps was a plus for Bibby today. Next up, Mateusz Kiliskowski from Poland, someone else who struggles with a deadlift. 3 reps for him and 4.5 points. Next up, Luke Stoltman, 3 reps and 4.5 points. Terry Hollands with 1 rep and 2 points. Now, Terry has just come out of doing his bodybuilding training that you've also seen videos and photographs of, and he recently managed to pack on 20 kilos of body weight in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So, you know, Terry's still finding his feet and trying to find his strength again. That's usually a weight Terry would rep all day. He's got a max deadlift in the gym of 450 kilos. That's an extra 100 kilos on top of that. So, you know, first day back for Terry. It's always, you know, a bit daunting, first day back in the office. So he's trying to find his feet again in Strongman and see where he's at and what he needs to work on. And bringing up the rear, Robert Oberst over from the USA. He did that big podcast with Joe Rogan about not wanting to do deadlifts unless you do deadlifts, i.e. in a competition. And it really showed here today. He didn't get any reps at all and was unable to lift the deadlift bar up at all, not even an inch. And that was 350 kilos or 770 pounds. Robert's a multiple World's Strongest Man competitor. He's made the finals. He's not, you know, he's not a rubbish strongman. It's just, I guess, he's been avoiding deadlifts, or maybe he just struggles with that particular type of weight. I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting to hear from Robert afterwards. I'm sure he'll post up, and there'll be a bit of a joke around the whole podcast around deadlifts and him not actually being able to deadlift at the show. But putting that aside, it was a good first event. The guys really got stuck in. It really started to spread the pack out a little bit. And then we went into event 2. They didn't mess around. Giants Live were very quick to jump straight into the giant dumbbell overhead for reps. And again, that was 103 kilos or 227 pounds. Now, I'm not sure how many of the guys managed to get over in advance and have some practice time with that. Probably not a lot of time. I know that Evan Singleton from USA was flown in at least a week early, so he had an awful lot of time to sort of get to grips with the equipment. And obviously all the guys that live in the UK, it's quite a UK heavy field here. That would be my only negative on the competition. One of the best competitions, I have to say, one of the best competitions I've ever seen. I didn't see it live, I watched it on the live stream, but it was the best show of the year. I think it tops Europe's, and unless Worlds really pulls it out and does a really nice edit, this could actually be the top competition or the most exciting competition of the year. So again, it really begs the question. You need to get on officialstrongman.com, subscribe. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not saying this because they're paying me anything. It is literally, it's the only way to watch it. Unless you want clips online and these sort of little updates here and there, to watch it live was a bit of a treat today. It was a really great show. It's only a couple of dollars a month, and you also get all the tips and training guides from the athletes, from the guys and the girls. And you can also go back through Giants Live's back catalogue of other strongman shows. So for all the guys in America, for example, that's the biggest audience outside of the UK, based on the views I get and based on information Giants Live and Ultimate Strongman and other people talk about. That's where you're going to be able to get to watch these shows. There's no real good YouTube video of this. It's got to be through the feed. It's the only way you'll get like a high enough definition copy of it with all the information. But really, really great show. Hats off to Darren Sadler and Colin Bryce and all the team. It was very well oiled this time. Sometimes they have hiccups with changing over events and delays. It was a 5-hour show all in. It started at 5 and finished at 10 p.m. So I spent 5 hours pushing this on sort of Facebook and Instagram and a little bit on YouTube. But I wanted to do a video for anyone who wanted it kind of all together and wanted my take maybe on some of the stuff that went down that I didn't actually or wasn't able to put online. So we've done the athlete list, we've done the event list, we're on the dumbbell. So dumbbell for reps, Mikhail Shivlyakov, he managed 5 reps, so he got 8.5 points. 4 reps and 7.5 points. So it's interesting to say that Shivlyakov actually tore his hamstring in the deadlift, so he was going to pull out after the first event. So this is something you wouldn't have known. And they were actually writing him off for the show, and he actually battled on and carried on doing the events. So it was really great to see Mikhail soldiering on, as it were, with 4 reps and 7.5 points. Terry Hollands managed 1 rep on the dumbbell, getting him 2 points. Now 103 kilos is probably not far off his maximum. His overhead is not his strongest event, but he still got stuck in there and got an extra point on the board. Kevin Fairs also with only 1 rep, so he gets 2 points. Luke Stockman 6 reps and 9 points. Robert Oberst 3 reps and 5 points. Tom Stoltman 3 reps and 5 points. Adam Bishop 3 reps and 5 points. Iron Bibby 7 reps and 10.5 points. 7 reps. Iron Bibby was beasting through this event. His overhead is his strongest event, and it's not just log press or axle now, he's got dumbbell. And it was an awkward dumbbell. A lot of the guys were holding it quite far out, and when they were trying to press it, I mean, they know this, but their arm was getting pulled away, and that's where you're not strong in that position. You need your elbow high, the dumbbell on your sort of behind your head on your back, and then with a bit of a leg press and a bump off your back, stay under the dumbbell. You'll notice, if you get to see this, Mateusz Kiliskowski has got the technique down, as has Novikov. It's very technical lift. Some guys sometimes lean to the side, straighten their arm and stand up. That is allowed, and I guess that's kind of what they do, but they do it in a very modified version of that. But it's very technical, and the trick is to keep your centre of gravity and the dumbbell over your head as much as possible. The further away it goes, the more difficult that press is going to be. So well done to Iron Bibby. Evan Singleton, T-Rex, come over from America, wanted to make a statement in the UK, and he did. 7 reps, 10.5 points. Congratulations to Evan. That was a great event for him. Mark Felix, only 1 rep, and again 2 points. As expected, Mark's not great overhead. So it was good for him to get 1 rep on the board there, because again, he sometimes zeros this kind of event. So really happy for Mark. Alexei Novikov, 8 reps and 12 points. Big points for Novikov there. Good to be consistent. And he struggled with his first rep. He got it up and he lost it behind his head. And then after that, he was able to regroup and banged out 8 reps in 60 seconds. Unbelievable. And Ben Brunning from Wales, the dark horse of this show and my man of the match for this show. Ben's a UK guy. He's not really been given a shot, in my opinion, as much as he should have done. He's 3 times Wales' strongest man. And he's kind of missed out on some of the love and the action from Giants Live. So this time they kind of had to give him a shot. He'd done so well. It would have been criminal for him not to be at this show. And he really earned his stripes today. He really made a name for himself. If you didn't know who he was, you will after this show. He got 4 reps and 7.5 points. And winning the competition, maybe as expected, Mateusz Kiliskowski with 9 reps and 13 points. So Mateusz taking the event win in event number 2. So interesting, the dumbbell. It was a good event. They rattled through it quite quickly. So events 1 and 2 were over almost within an hour. There was actually an hour of sort of build up to the show. So you've got the guys walking out with the flags. You've got their entrance music. They get to talk a little bit about who these people are. You've also got the crowd being used to kind of do cheering and introductions. And Colin Bryce will walk round with Radzi and they'll do little chats around each event with Kaz. So, it's quite a good little show. And I'll be honest with you, so it was only really 4 hours of competition because the first hour was prepping to start, I guess. But once they'd finished event 2, it was no messing around, straight into event 3. Event 3 was the car yoke walk for, I think it was 20 metres, 450 kilos or 992 pounds. So it was good to see some new guys do this that I've not seen personally before. Let's see if we can do this in order. Probably can't. Terry Holland's 16.95 seconds. Mikhail Shivlyakov, 1.1 metres. Now, remembering that Mikhail had that hamstring injury from the deadlift, not surprising the guy's not able to move with it, but he had a go. Kevin Fair's 20.45 seconds. Good time for Kevin. Luke Stoltman bettered that at 16.75 seconds. Robert Oberst, 14.46 seconds. So it was really quick by Robert. It was good to see him sort of bring himself back again after not managing to deadlift and not very many reps in the dumbbell. So Oberst was starting to make a bit of a charge back at this point. Tom Stoltman, 19.14 seconds. Adam Bishop, 15.49 seconds. Iron Bibby went up, I believe, against Evan Singleton, and it was like the 100 metres at the Olympics. It was unbelievable. Evan Singleton got 11.25 seconds. Now, the world record on this weight and this apparatus, this distance, is 11.05 seconds. So 11.25, and everyone was like, oh my God, has he done it? And him and Bibby were neck and neck. And I believe at the start, Bibby was winning. Then Evan came back at the end. I thought Evan had taken it, but actually it was Bibby that picked him to the post with 11.12 seconds. So a fraction off the world record, and definitely in there if Bibby practiced it more and was able to use the equipment. So amazing. That was really exciting to watch. And then that followed on with Mark Felix, 16.88 seconds, 16.49 seconds for Novikov, 15.76 seconds for Ben Brunning from Wales, and 10 seconds dead for Mateusz Kieliszkowski, the event win and the new world record. So, you know, it's exciting. How many times do you get to see a show where not only do you have these really close matchups, but people are breaking records every time. Really great for Mateusz. That's his second event win. You can kind of see where this is going. But it was really good. It was a really close fought race, especially between 2 or 3 guys on that yoke race. I don't usually find the car run that exciting, but it's because normally everyone's so far split apart. But to see it that close, neck and neck between Bibby and Singleton, 2 of the guys that I still class as relatively new in the sport, it was really, really good fun. Really great to see. So after that, it was time to clear down the stage and pull out the Hercules hold. These are the 2 pillars that stand side by side, linked by chains. You grab one side, you grab the other. They get you to take the strain. They then cut the cord at the back, and that is it. You are holding those pillars as long as you can. It's grip strength, it's mental strength, it's can you take the pain? And some guys really did take the pain today. Terry Hollands, he mentioned he's done 220 plus competitions, and he has never ever done the Hercules hold, which is crazy. Because I remember it being at World's Strongest Man, but actually it was probably just before Terry entered World's Strongest Man sort of territory. So he just missed it when I think, I'm trying to think who was doing it then, but one of the athletes was doing it, Mark Felix probably, and Terry has just never used it. So it was his first ever go. Terry was quite confident coming into this show on the Hercules hold and managed 58.52 seconds to take 7 points. That was a really good time. Anything around the minute mark is what the guys should be aiming for. Mikhail Shivlyakov hobbled back up there, 44.02 seconds for 3 points. The smallest, lightest guy in the competition, Kevin Fairs, 61.63 seconds for 8 points. Really amazing performance there. Could he have got a few seconds more? Maybe, but he was pushing himself to the max there and beating a lot of the giants today. Luke Stoltman, 43.69 seconds for 2 points. Robert Oberst, he really wanted some salvation at this point. I think he'd not done quite so well earlier on. He really wanted to go for it. 79.63 seconds for 12 points. That was second place. So he took a scalp there. He took a lot of other guys out, and he really started to claw his way back, and it was a good performance by Robert. Tom Stoltman, 34.03 seconds. He looked in control until obviously one of his hands gave way, but I just think how do you practice this more often? I think maybe the guys need to take more trips down to wherever the Giants guys are keeping the kit, or maybe invest in some Hercules hold replicas themselves. It's going to be something that I think the Giants Live crew are going to be using more and more now. It does look good and it seems really popular. So yeah, definitely something for everyone to be working on, I guess. Adam Bishop with 47.39 seconds for 4 points. Iron Bibby, 70.59 seconds for 10 points. It was really important for Bibby to get some really good points here and bringing himself up to the podium spots at this point. He really dug in deep. He's not really had time to train on this. So really great for Bibby to, hold himself up there. Many of these competitions, he's kind of in the middle of the pack or sort of middle to lower end of the pack. And he was really right up the top at this point. Actually, after this event, I think Iron Bibby was joint first. So it really does show his consistency across all of those events. Even with a weak deadlift, he was placing very highly in the other events. Evan Singleton, 68.72 seconds for 9 points. Really great from Evan. Mark Felix, let's come on to Mark Felix in a minute. Alexei Novikov, 55.56 seconds for 6 points. I think Alexei was really mentally probably up against Mateus. He really wanted to prove himself after World's Strongest Man and slipping up on that sort of stone eliminator. But he did really well there. 55.56 is a good score, good time. 6 points. Still had him up in podium contention at this point. Ben Brunning from Wales, again, the UK, 75.4 seconds. I mean, crazy. He came third in this event. People haven't heard of him because he hasn't been promoted as well as maybe he should have done. Not by himself, but maybe by some of the bigger promotional companies. He's a great all-round athlete. He's proven that today. I was always a fan of Ben's anyway, but more so from today. I think he was humble. He didn't make a big deal about stuff. He wasn't shouting and waving his hands around, and there was none of these sort of posts beforehand. He just got in there. He lifted. He did his events. He was consistent. And he deserved all the luck in the world today. And he got that today. 75.4 seconds for third place in the Hercules hold. Mateusz Kieliszkowski, again, he was already in a good position at this point, but he only ended up with 49.59 seconds. That was only good enough for 5 points. So he was tying for first place going into the stones at this point with Iron Bibby, which people could not believe Iron Bibby was in joint first. It was unbelievable. I have faith in Bibby. I just think Bibby needs some faith in himself. I think he pulled out of Worlds today, and I'm desperate to see him compete on the world stage. I think he's such a great guy. He's got a lot to offer, but he was looking big. He was looking bigger than you've seen him before. There's a picture online I took of him doing the Hercules hold. I've never seen legs as big as this. It's just monstrous sized legs. Biggest joints. He's got really big elbow joints and knee joints. Really great for things like squats and pressing and just being really strong. And I'd love to see him at World's Strongest Man. So fingers crossed we get to see Bibby make it to Worlds next year in 2020. But then we talk about Mark Felix, 53 years old. Said he was going to retire last year and didn't. Came back and competed at this show. He's doing really, really well. He's tying for first place on the deadlift event. He's getting a rep on the dumbbell overhead, so he's improving. He's getting a reasonable time on the car walk and getting some points there, but he actually took the event win and broke his current world record on the Hercules hold. Unbelievable. 87.52 seconds for 13 points. So at this point, Mark Felix is really in contention now to make that podium. Unbelievable. It was great to see. The time was ticking on. It was coming up to a minute. Was there going to be a slippage? Was he going to accidentally let it go like some of the other guys I feel did? No, he held strong all the way through to the final, broke his world record, dropped it like a champion. He knew exactly where he was, 1 or 2 seconds more just to make sure. I think Mark's got more in the tank, unbelievably. But he broke a world record, and Giants Live, rightly so, rewarded him with £3,000. So he got a prize fund for doing that. That was great. I think it was nice to hear Giants chucking in a few of those, depending on if any world records were broken. And I think one of them was going to be for that car walk. So Mateus probably also got a bonus there. So really great for those guys to be rewarded for pushing themselves that little bit extra during a competition, because the idea normally is conserving your strength for the final event but they were pushing all the way. They had to. This show today was very, very close all the way. So we're now looking at the final event here. So let me just see what else I've got on here. So after the Hercules hold, so yeah, we've got Mark with the world record with 87.52 seconds. And that's it. So yeah, back to where I was. Sorry, guys. And so event 5 was the stones. It was 120 kilos to 200 kilos, increase of 20 kilos on last year. I'm not 100% sure what that is in pounds. But here is the list. So Terry Hollands, 4 at the stones in 43.46 seconds for 2 points, and he finished in last place with 17 points overall. Terry's really good at stones. I'm not sure what happened. I think he was just completely beat and knackered by the end of the show. And that 200 kilo stone, which he's done at home in the gym easily, was just a little bit too much today. Mikhail Shivlyakov didn't do the stones. I think at this point he was kind of beaten up enough. 0 points on stones and 20 points overall, so he came 12th. Next up was Kevin Fairs, 5 stones in 31.29 seconds. He got 7 points for that and 26 overall, so he took 11th. Then we got Luke Stoltman. He was 5 stones in 32.72 seconds. That was 6 points for Luke, and he ended up with 27.5 points in 10th place. Next up, Robert Oberst. He managed to put it back slightly into 9th. He had 5 stones in 48.15 seconds, getting 4 points on the event and 31 points overall. Then in 8th, we ended up with Tom Stoltman. Beating his older brother again. It's becoming a habit, so maybe Luke needs to step up his game. But Tom finished with 5 stones in 20.88 seconds, 13 points. He actually took the stone win. Tom generally does. He's a great stone lifter, so congratulations to Tom for maintaining his strength in stones. 13 points and 32 points overall. Much needed to claw himself back up to the middle of the table, where he belongs, really. 7th spot was Adam Bishop, 5 stones in 29.14 seconds. He ended up with 9 points for that and 39 points overall. So it's quite a big jump from 7th to sort of 8th and below. There's sort of almost 7 points. It's quite a big gap at the end of the day. And then we go even further up the line. Iron Bibby in 6th. This is upsetting for me, really. Bibby was in joint first position going into the stones. He just had to do a very safe 5 stone run in a reasonable time, and he probably would have made the podium and gained an invitation to World's Strongest Man. And unfortunately for Bibby, today was not his day. He managed really quickly to get up the first 4 stones, and for whatever reason, whatever happened today, he just could not get up that 5th stone, that 200 kilo stone. Devastating. And because most of the other guys did, he fell right down the pack, minimal points, and it really, really affected his score. So commiserations to Bibby, finishing in 6th place with 4 stones on 32.16 seconds, getting only 3 points and finishing on 40 points overall. It just shows you how close it really is. You think people are miles ahead. I mean, going into the final event in first place, what more can you want? And having come back after a weak deadlift as well. It's just gutting, really gutting. But anyway, moving on. 5th place, Evan Singleton, T-Rex, come over from America. He's done really, really well. Just outside of podium contention today. 5 stones in 34.5 seconds, 11 points, and finishing with 43 points. Sorry, finishing with 40 points overall. That was 5 points for that event, not 11. And then moving up into 4th place, 53-year-old Mark Felix. Felix did 5 stones in 26.53 seconds, gaining 11 points and 43 points overall. This is what Bibby needed to do, 5 stones in sort of 25 to 28 seconds territory. That probably would have been enough. But Felix did, and Felix was rewarded with a 4th place position. Now we get to the podium. It gets interesting here. If you were watching it live, we had no idea who was where, because at this point, everyone had fumbled on stones. Times were not as quick as we'd expected them to be. Mateus fumbled a bit. Novikov nearly dropped the first stone on his head, but managed to hold it up there, steady it, and then replace it. It was crazy. And Ben Brunning, steady stone run, nothing too dramatic, good points, good position. So in 3rd place, Alexei Novikov from the Ukraine, 5 stones in 29.38 seconds. He managed to get 8 points for that and 45 points overall. He finishes in 3rd place because of time. So although he finished on the same amount of points as Ben Brunning in 2nd place, Ben's stone run was just slightly quicker, and this is where small margins make the difference, and the difference between prize money and the difference between that silver trophy or that gold trophy. Massive difference when it comes to the the reality of what you actually get. I'm not quite sure what guys get financially from positions 4 onwards. I'm guessing it's pretty minimal. So you train all year, you compete all year, you come to these shows, you really must podium to get the reward for the work you guys put in. The guys put in some massive work for this. This is their livelihood. Most of them, it's not just a hobby, it's their life. And Ben Brunning from Wales, from the UK, came out of nowhere, the dark horse of the competition, steady all the way through, 5 stones in 26.79 seconds. Like I said, nothing too dramatic, just a safe stone run, no mistakes, good time, 10 points and 45 points overall, taking 2nd place at his first, as far as I'm aware, Giants Live competition. So Ben gets the man of the match for me. He was amazing. Loads of positive comments from other people who watched it live and people online. I expect to see some big things from Ben, and he now has got his place at World's Strongest Man, as has Alexei Novikov. So great to see those guys this year. It'll be really exciting to see how they get on. And the champion, was it ever in any doubt? It was, but he managed to pull it back. Mateusz Kieliszkowski is the Giants Live World's Strongest Man Tour final champion for 2019. He also won this show in 2018, so this is his 2nd consecutive victory. So this is a kind of competition that he must be liking. This mix of events, this sort of crowd. He finished 5 stones in 21.15 seconds, just behind Tom Stoltman. I think they both motioned the 200 kilo stone. Why not? That would make the difference of a few seconds. He gained 12 points and 47.5 points overall. So much like most scoreboards, there's not much in it at the top. Between sort of 4th and 1st, you're looking at like 5 points, really close. Great competition. Great to see Mateusz with another victory. He'll be really pumped after that and up for his next competition. Mateusz competes all year round. This is his life. He doesn't have a job. He quit his job to become a pro strongman. And it's paying off. Eddie Hall did something similar. Didn't compete quite so much though. I mean, Mateusz is competing everywhere. He does Giants Live, he does Arnold's, he does World's Strongest Man, Ultimate Strongman team shows. I'm not sure if he does the Strongman Champions League. That might be something he can add to his list if he doesn't already. But he's got to be careful he doesn't burn out. He is getting a little bit older now. I think he's 24 or 25, ridiculously young. I know when he started with the Arnolds, he was something like 21 or 22. It's just crazy to think how strong he was at that young an age and where he is now, and he probably still hasn't tapped into his maximum strength. So congratulations to Mateusz on a 2nd victory at the Giants Live World's Strongest Man Tour Finals. You guys have all this to look forward to. If you live in the UK, it will be on Channel 5 at Christmas in December. If you don't live in the UK, I'm not sure yet how you guys will be able to watch it. It's criminal that these UK shows are not global. It has World's Strongest Man in the title. They are a qualifier for the World's Strongest Man, which again is only shown in the UK. The American CBS get a different edit of it, which again, why? The UK version is kind of the preferred version, I guess, not because it's done by guys in the UK. I'm not sure that it is, but just because it's just a really good feeling show and it's really well edited and put together, and the team that have been doing it have done it for quite a few years now. So if I get any information on how you guys can watch this show at Christmas, if you're not in the UK, I will let you know. I'm Julian Howard. I run a few other pages, so if you follow me on YouTube and you'd like to maybe see some more Strongman, I actually post an awful lot more than I do on YouTube on my Facebook page. I have a Facebook Strongman group called Julian Howard Strongman Promoter. It started off where I just used that page to promote the athletes. As you're aware, I work with lots of the guys. I've put on UK tours with Brian Shaw and Zadrina Zavickas, Eddie Hall, Bill Kazmaier, all the big names. I've worked hard to sort of network with the guys and build relationships with the guys. And it's kind of evolved from that into a page of just Strongman. So anything Strongman related, whether it's memes, updates on scores. People send me competitions that they're doing or events that are happening. So it's kind of a hub of Strongman. So it's Julian Howard Strongman Promoter on Facebook. We're up to 10,500 people on there now, which is pretty good from just being a fan. I'm not a business, I'm not a company. So really thank you to everyone that follows that page and helps support me to just kind of do my hobby, I guess. I also have an Instagram page, which is World's Strongest Fan. Same as the YouTube channel, which is also World's Strongest Fan. I would change my Facebook page, but they won't let me. Once you get over 1,000 followers, you can't actually change the name of the group. So it's going to be stuck as Julian Howard Strongman Promoter forever, I guess, unless I find a way around that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope it wasn't too rambly. It's a bit difficult. I've got some spreadsheets here that I'm sort of flipping between, trying to cover off a little bit of insight, a little bit of scores. But it was just such a great show, really great show. If you take anything away from this video, it will be if you can get an opportunity to watch the Giants live shows live or on the live stream, I would definitely do so. The live stream is the cheaper and easier option. Go to officialstrongman.com, subscribe and pay, I think it's about $8-10 a month, something like that, and you'll get access to all the archived footage, clips from all the other shows that Giants Live put together. So actually, having said that, this is your way to watch this show. It's not going to be the TV edit that we get in the UK, but it's a very good, well done, put together, fly on the wall live edit, and that will stay on there indefinitely that I'm aware of. So you can go back and watch last year's, you can go back and watch Europe's Strongest Man, Britain's Strongest Man. So actually paying a small amount of money, maybe if you and your friends chip in together, that's another way of doing it. Anyway guys, I'm Julian Howard, this is the World's Strongest Fan. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you all again next time.